liner, right? It's basically a concrete piece, rectangular concrete piece, the topple. Okay, so what needs to happen is you need at least 4 to 5 people, or I would say more than that, to be there. So the body then needs to be taken off the gurney, right? The gurney can come all the way up to the gravesite, and the body, you need 3 brothers lifting up from here, and 3 brothers who are inside the grave to hold the body, right? So before that happens, you take shovels that get there, and there's a mound of earth. So you fill the cement liner with a thin layer of earth, and wherever the head is, let's assume this is the head, you kind of like start putting a little more earth to kind of like make it kind of like a pillow right here. And then the body is lowered. If that's the qibla, you want to have the body on the grave lying this way, facing the qibla. This is the qibla, and most of the graves are oriented that way, so you'll know which direction. So you don't want to leave the body straight. You put it on the shoulder, right, facing the qibla, right? And once you lower there, you pack it up with more dirt here to kind of like even it up, so the body is in this position. And once that's done, whoever is in the grave just removes the 3 ties. That's it. Remove the 3 ties here gently. And once it's done, you cover as much as you can, but then the top layer of the cement box goes on top. In some cemeteries in Woodlawn, those cement cover is in 3 pieces, and they're really, really heavy. So you need 2 brothers to actually, lift each stone to cover the whole thing. And if you go to Covington, they have machinery that has 1 big cement block that's taken up and just covered, right? So the body is now lying on a bed of earth, and the cement liner is top. And once it's done, you can shovel as much dirt as you want, or if there's equipment there that can start covering it, right? So that's the final step. And after that, just make dua, whatever dua you want. Whoever is at the congregation makes dua for the deceased, for everyone, and that's about it.
Yeah. And if there is an imam or some scholar out there, they read the Surah Fatiha, Kul plus Aman Rasul, some part of Baqarah, Yasin, and then dua. Generally, that's what people do it. Otherwise, whatever you could read for a few minutes, make dua, and then before you leave. It is highly recommended to stay for a few minutes to comfort the janazah, because as soon as it gets into the anxiety state. So if the janazah would know what is going on around it, so if you are able to stay for 5 minutes or so, read some Quran, make dua before you leave. That will comfort the janazah.
So that's about it.
So what's the role for immediate family in the last process? Like a son, if you have sons, what is the final right of the deceased decedent on his children, for example?
Yes, it is highly recommended that if there are relatives, let's assume there's a male, if there is a son, brother, whoever, male relatives, we highly encourage them to actually do the ghusl, right? Volunteers will tell them what to do, right, and guide them, but we really highly encourage, the family members to actually perform the ghusl. If they don't have either male family members, or if no one is available, then the volunteers will step in to actually perform the ghusl. But it's the right of the family is to actually do it themselves, right? But sometimes they're not equipped, they don't know what to do, so we are there, right, to help guide them. But there's some manual lifting, so volunteers are available. Typically, we ask for about 4 to 5 volunteers. There's always one lead to do that, but if they're family members, we tell them what to do. Hey, please wash your dad or your brother or son, whatever, right? That's their right to do that.
What about the grave part? What about any specific rights
It's the
on
same thing.
lifting or bringing inshallah? Okay.
Volunteers are there to help, but it's the right of the
Jazakumullah
family
khair.
to do the whole thing themselves, right?
Yeah, and then even when you put the dirt on it, the family members have rights to put the dirt first and before any other stuff.
Jazakumullah,
And
absolutely.
then even when during the janazah salah, Many cases I've seen the family members reading the salat, then when the sheikh is there, the family members have rights
Yeah,
to read.
yeah. So Sheikh
That's
usually
preferred
asks, is there
actually,
anyone from the
the
family
son.
wants to lead the Salat al-Janaza, and sometimes they say yes, sometimes they're not comfortable, then
The sheikh leads it.
Imam leads this.
The cement part, the cement goes right on top of the body?
No. Like I said, it's a rectangular
Hollow box.
right? So the body is placed here. There's usually a gap, right?
About
like
2 to
about
3
2 to 3 feet, and then the liner comes up to here, so it's placed on top of it. So
And there is a concrete block put on top of it. So it's,
Yeah.
so you once you put the janaza and then concrete block goes on top of it.
It's
a
closed.
2 feet close to close it, yeah. And then the dirt goes
yeah,
on top.
nothing goes on top.
So we don't in Washington. We don't have the lahed part of the grave. That's not there, right? Okay, inshallah.
Yeah, and then also state of Washington, the gravesite cannot be used. I know in other parts of some parts of the world, after a few years, the same grave is open and someone else get buried. Here, no. I mean, that's because it's a cement liner. That grave spot is forbidden. Yeah. So you can choose, to put a small nameplate if needed. We recommend not to build any mausoleum or any markers, but a small nameplate is okay to identify where this person is buried.
Sometimes family members goes year later, 2 years later, when they go up for them, they identify it.
Yeah, so it's okay. We've actually checked whether it's okay, and they said a small nameplate that says identifies with